I know myself well enough now to say that if I tried on Sunday to plan out my week where I literally said during this block, I'm going to work on podcasts, during this block on Tuesday, I'm going to work on copywriting, during this block on Wednesday, by Wednesday, I would definitely be off track. And by Friday, I wouldn't be anywhere close. Welcome to the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast, where being a badass has less to do with what you wear and what music you listen to, and everything to do with whether you've got the thriving online business of your dreams. I'm your renegade thinking Harvard Law grad turned online entrepreneur host, Bobby Klinck. In my years building my thriving business, the most important lesson I've learned is that being a badass online marketer isn't about secret strategies or ninja tactics. It's about doing the basic stuff right and showing the F up. So each week here on the show, you'll get clear, easy to execute guidance on how to build your online business and a swift kick in the ass or two to make sure you're getting it done. Hey there, welcome to episode 134 of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Klinck. And today, I don't really know how to describe what today's episode is exactly and how it fits in. It's a Foundations Friday episode. And it's one of those episodes that is kind of a Seinfeld episode. It's about one thing, but it's really about something else. Now, what we're going to be talking about today, kind of when you look at the specific thing we're talking about, is don't feel like you need to buy a frickin' journal just because everybody else is buying journals. In other words, for some people, journals aren't for you, and that's okay. And if that's you, don't feel you need to buy one, just don't freaking buy one. So I'm going to talk about that. But even if you are someone who loves your journal, who uses a journal every day and loves it, and you're saying, okay, I don't need to listen to this episode, you should listen. Because the episode's actually about something deeper. And I think you'll figure that out. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. Now, for those of you who are on my email list and were on it at various points, I had an email that was part of my kind of welcome sequence that I think the subject line was "Stop Buying Freaking Journals." And it's in quotes because literally it's something that my wife said to me because she got pissed off at me because I kept buying planners all the time and, thinking, oh, okay, well, I need the planner. And it was like, I've got 18 different kinds of planners. And I was like, oh, and I would get excited, use it for a day or two and then stop. And I was like, oh, well, it was just that planner. So let me get a different one. And I would buy a different kind. And what would happen? I'd get excited. I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. This is just what I need. And so I would start using that one for a day or two, maybe a week, and then I'm like, and it would stop happening. And this happened repeatedly. So at some point, my wife literally got mad at me and told me to quit buying freaking planners because she's like, you're not using them, so why are you doing that? So I put that email into my welcome sequence at some point, and then someone responded by telling me that they had actually gotten them like this company called Agendio, which was really cool. You can customize the planner to you and literally do that. So, oh, that's kind of cool. And I got sucked back in. And I went over to Agendio, which basically what you can do is you can customize how the page looks based upon what you want in your planner. So I went through the process and I said, well, what do I want in a planner? And I did it and I customized it. And I was like, this is going to be great. I used it for a day or two and then I didn't use it again. So I'm now at a point where I have said, I just won't use a paper planner. I like the idea of them. I wish I liked planners, but I now know that I'm not going to do it. And so you know what? I don't use a planner. I don't buy planners. Now, I plan my day, I plan my life, but I don't do it with a day planner on paper because I've discovered that I'm not going to do that. And if you're like me and you're feeling it, and what happens is, and part of the reason why I think I kept feeling the need to try new planners is because everybody in the online space is talking about how they plan their day and their morning routine and the big 3 that they do every day and this and that. And, maybe they use the full focus planner, or they use, I forget what Rachel Hollis's planners are called, or there's something called some power sheets, or they use this or that, or they use the journals that John Lee Dumas put out from EO Fire about, I forgot what he had. One was called the Freedom Journal and then the Mastery Journal, and they love those. And so we feel a pressure. And by the way, I've used all of those except for Rachel Hollis's and Power Sheets, but the other ones I've tried using. But so we feel this pressure like, oh, everybody else is doing it, so I should be doing it. And if that's you, I'm going to give you permission. And I'm going to be very clear. You don't need my permission for anything in your business, but I'm going to give you my permission right now. You can be a successful multi-6 and even 7-figure business owner without using a planner. Now, you have to make plans. Let's be very clear about that. You have to structure your day so that you know what you're doing. But you know what? You can do that in Google Calendar. You can just block out time in Google Calendar, and then there you go. And you can do it at the beginning of the week by pulling out a sheet of notebook paper and writing down the things you need to get done that week and working on them. Or you can do it by creating a very simple checklist and doing that. The point here is that you need to find what works for you, because we do need to kind of, have a plan for what we're working on and work towards completing that plan and know what the big goals are and know what the big rocks that we need to move are. And we need to understand all of that to build our businesses. But there is no one size fits all way to actually go about accomplishing those tasks. And again, there are all of these companies out there. There are companies that will tell you, oh, there's 4 different types of people, so let's figure out what your personality is, and we'll figure out that. But what I'm going to tell you is there are just some people, and here's the important thing I want you to realize. I think it's very prevalent among visionary entrepreneurs that a lot of us just aren't wired to use a planner. We're just not wired to use like a daily planner or a daily journal or something like that. Now, again, I want to tell you that it's because, we have to have structures in place. And I now have structures with my team where they're helping to keep me on track. And I, at the beginning of the week, I go into our project management tool, which is called Teamwork. And I can see all the tasks that I have due that week. So I know what I have to get done, but I don't feel the need to work through a paper planner to plan my week in advance where I'm literally saying, okay, well, in this time block, I'm doing this. No, what I do, I block time that says deep work. So I will block 3-hour blocks on my calendar for various times. That is basically the deep work. That's where I do content creation. That's where if I'm recording these podcasts, that's when I'm doing that. If I'm writing a bunch of emails, that's where I'm doing that. If I'm doing any kind of strategy work, it's happening there. If I'm working on copy, it's happening in those blocks. And so I block time, but I don't, for example, say during block 1, I'm going to be doing podcast recording. And again, maybe I can do that for Monday, but I know myself well enough now to say that if I tried on Sunday to plan out my week where I literally said during this block, I'm going to work on podcasts, during this block on Tuesday, I'm going to work on copywriting, during this block on Wednesday, by Wednesday, I would definitely be off track. And by Friday, I wouldn't be anywhere close. And so I'm telling you this to share this with you so that if you're one of those people who's like a closeted, I don't do things the way that all these big name people talk about with these planners, and maybe I shouldn't talk about that. Talk about it. It's okay. As long as you're getting the work done, that's what matters. And so for those of you who do love planners and journals and listened anyway, I hope you picked up the bigger message, and I hope everyone picked up the bigger message here. The bigger message is there is no one size fits all when it comes to anything. You don't have to do something because other people do it. I talked about morning routines. Same way I had the same view of morning routines that I do of planners. For a long time, I was like, I've got to have a morning routine. And so I would, list the 8 things I was going to do in the morning. And then that just seemed like a lot of pressure. And then I realized that in reality, all I needed to do to be very effective, very efficient, feel happy, get the right self-care, get all of that done was I found my one keystone habit. If you're not familiar with the concept of a keystone habit is it's that one thing that if you do that one thing, everything else seems to fall in place. And so I found my keystone habit, and that was I just need to get up and exercise for 30 minutes for an hour or more every morning. And that's as simple as just going for a walk in the morning or going to the gym or doing something. But the concept is if I get up and do that first thing in the morning, guess what? Boom, my day is off to a great start and I actually have a wonderful day. I don't need to do all of the other stuff to be effective. And I'm not saying that's right for you. Maybe you are someone who needs the structure of exercise, journaling, meditating, all that. And if that's you, great. But my point, and again, this is going to be a refrain you're going to hear a lot from me is you be you and I'm going to be me. And you shouldn't try to copy me because I've been successful. You can take lessons from me. You can take kind of, approaches from me. But that doesn't mean you simply copy what I do and that's going to make you successful. And it's not just morning routines and it's not just journals. It's the reality is that you might, you can't just look at someone else and say, ooh, they were successful. So I'm literally going to do everything they did in their business in the exact order they did. And that's going to make me successful. No, it's not. Or you can't say, I want a template for, how to write a great Facebook ad and a great landing page and a great sales page. And then boom, I'm going to win. Nope, not going to happen. It might happen. But there's no way to template this out. There's no way to template the right funnel for your business. Sorry, not sorry. It's the reality. And I use kind of planners and journals because it's something very concrete that I think every one of my listeners can understand because we all hear about journals and we all hear people talking about it. And those of us who are like me and it doesn't work for us for a long time, we felt guilty. I don't know about you, but maybe you feel guilty. I felt guilty for a long time. And then I said, screw it. I got a good business. Why am I going to feel guilty that I'm not doing what other people say I should be doing? And so I give you permission to take that approach to your business. And if you will, things will work out, or they will work a lot better than if you try to say, I've got to do my business the way this person said 100% because they were successful. That is not the way you get to success in business or in anything else. So my call to action to you be you. That's it for this episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. Until next week, where I'll come back with 2 more episodes. But in the meantime, go out and build the badass business of your dreams. That's it for this episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. Make sure to tune in next time. And in the meantime, go out and build the badass business of your dreams.